Hello YouTube. Hey guys, it's Sean here with Stealing Second, bringing a little different video to you this week. I was in Texas, had a chance to sit down with Mike, baseball collector. He was gracious enough to invite me into his home. Got to meet his family. They are great people, very friendly. It was a great time all together. We got to just hang out, just talk baseball cards and look at his cards and his collection. He has an amazing collection, and all the way around it was just a really fun and kind of what the hobby's all about. It was a really cool evening. So anyways, I did a video where I just did an interview with him called Peeling Back the Scab. It's a segment I've kind of talked about wanting to do where I sit down with other YouTubers, collectors in the area and just kind of question, and see what makes them tick, what really brought them into collecting, what keeps them in collecting, and where they want to go next, and just have conversation in the meantime and exchange different ideas and thoughts on it. So it was a really cool time, really cool little conversation. It's very much set up like an interview. This is my very first one, so bear with me. That video is a little long, but definitely some good content. So the clips will be coming next after this. But before that, I wanted to say, if you're interested in possibly doing one of these with me and would like to share your story or just meet and hang out and talk baseball, email me below. In my emails in the description, and let me know, and we'll see what we can work out. Anyways, guys, stick around, watch these clips. If you like them, please hit the like button. If you have any questions or comments, please leave in the comments. Also, don't forget to hit the subscription and notification button, and I'll see you guys soon. Thank you. Hello YouTube. Hey guys, it's Sean here with Stealing Second. Got a special guest today. It is Mike, baseball collector. He was kind enough to invite me over to the house tonight, look at some cards, do some chatting.
Eat some pizza.
Definitely eat some pizza.
Drink some beer, yeah.
Had a nice drink or two. So right now we're just wanting to get in. I'm going to do a little video here, one I've been talking to you guys about peeling back the scab. I did an introductory video where I just kind of talked a little bit about how I got started and what really impacted me on my collecting. So I wanted to do this video with Mike and just kind of dig in a little bit and try to get inside Mike's head and see what makes him tick.
There's nothing in there.
I have my doubts.
It'll be a very short video then.
Well, we're going for 3 minutes flat here, so let's see what we can do.
All
right, so the first question, I guess, would be, when did you start collecting?
81.
81?
And I remember that, like, how can you remember that? And it's because I remember literally lining up on my bedroom floor as a kid. So 81, I was 8 years old, and I remember lining up 81 Donruss packs and opening and busting those, and 81 Fleer, and by team I'd line them up, and it was a little stack of cards. Like, I thought that was like, oh my gosh, I have so many Blue Jays or whatever team I had a lot of, and so I just distinctly remember that.
Nice. So that being when you started collecting, I guess, what year or what time frame would you say would be when you really kind of started taking it serious to the next level?
That's a great question. I would probably say, I never stopped. A lot of guys take these breaks from collecting, for a decade or whatever, through college or whatever, and I never did that. I didn't collect as heavy. I didn't buy as much stuff, but I was always buying stuff and going to shops and checking stuff out. And I started being a player collector and doing Darryl Strawberry. And this is pre-eBay, so you had to go to a shop and find cards of your players that you wanted and hope they had them, or go to shows and stuff like that. So I just never had a real break, but I would say it got really serious. Let's be honest, it takes money to buy cards, and instead of just buying the occasional box or the occasional single, I got really more serious as I got to have just more disposable income. And I would say that was probably 2010 or so, 2011, when I was able to really have the funds to get more serious. It's not that I never wanted to be. I always wanted to be serious. I just couldn't ever buy the stuff that was so cool because I didn't have the money. And that just changed for me, in the early 2010s. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So when you started doing that and started realizing you were getting a little bit more serious, was there any specific moment that you can remember that it kind of tied in that something you'd purchased or something you'd wanting or were wanting to purchase that kind of you felt kind of kicked you over the ledge there a little bit?
That's a really good question, Sean. If I had to pinpoint a moment, so I have two basic collections, right? Cards and then autographs. And so on the card side, I would say I felt like I kind of hit another level maybe when I bought my Nolan Ryan rookie card. Mm. And it's only a 3, and it was maybe, a $150 card. It wasn't like huge money, but it was like, whoa, okay, these aren't $5 cards anymore. Mm. I still have that card. I still have all those things I started buying in the 2010, 2011, 2012 era. I haven't upgraded them just because I'd rather spend the money on new stuff I don't have at all, yeah. Right? And so, but on the autograph side, I remember when I paid $1,000 for my Jackie Robinson autograph, and I was like, whoa, there's a comma in that number that I just bought a memorabilia piece for. And I thought, man, that's... okay, if you're going to jump off the ledge, let's really jump off the ledge. And I'm very blessed. Julie's been incredibly supportive of me. Like, she lets me do it. Bills get paid and we don't have debt and all that kind of stuff. So I'm not spending money we need. Yeah. And that's a big part of any collector to think about. So.
That's awesome. I got to touch on one thing you said there when you said the comma. So your channel was the first channel I'd ever heard anybody refer to $1,000 or more card as a comma card, and I actually quoted you on another video using that, and it was that was a moment for me in collecting when you said that in the video, that it kind of registered with me that this is more serious than what I thought my collecting was, because to me, when I started looking at comma cards as obtainable, that's when I realized I might be more serious about this than possible.
Right.
So that phrase, it definitely registers with me, and I definitely attribute a lot to you on that one.
Yeah, you think differently about it.
Like, absolutely.
Comma card. So that's what a comma card is. Yeah.
Absolutely. And if all of our wives were involved in these comma cards, we would probably have to put our commas together and get a small apartment.
That's right. Think about it. Would we let them buy a comma purse?
Yeah,
or a comma pair of shoes? Like,
exactly.
What? Luckily, we can resell our comma cards, right?
Absolutely.
For likely more than we pay for them. So that's the point.
Good deal. So then when collecting, I imagine, as we all do when we're growing up, you're going through cards, especially during the 80s wax era. And, there were so many superstars in that era.
Sure.
Everybody's kind of collecting, trading as young kids or teenagers. To me, I had a moment where somebody had given me a gift, that those cards that really registered to me, and I still have those cards today, and you guys have probably seen them in a video I've done where I show those cards.
Yep.
Did you ever have a time like that with anybody else that you were trading with? Maybe not as a gift or anything, but just memories like that kind of register. So even as an adult, when you're trading with people, or paying it forward with gifting a card to a kid or something like that,
sure,
kind of brings you back in that moment. Do you run into that?
Not because of anything necessarily that happened to me as a kid. I mean, I remember buying a 60 Topps Yaz from a friend of mine. God, I was 12 years old or something crazy young. Had no business owning a Yaz rookie. I've actually since sent it in to get slabbed. It came back a 3, which is, I don't care about the grade. I care about it. And I do have another Yaz now, upgraded. But the point is, no, but I always think about how to be generous. And whenever kids come over to my house and see my friends or whatever, they'll bring their kids over, and I'm like, well, who's your favorite Ranger, or something like that. And I probably have all of, I probably have an auto of that guy, right? And so I'll give an autograph to a kid, and their eyes light up, and they get so excited, and like, they're like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, I'm serious. I have plenty of them, kind of thing. And so I love doing that, and it's to see, and maybe that gets that kid started collecting. Maybe they don't. They love baseball maybe, but so many kids now don't equate the love of baseball with baseball cards like I do. That's how I got started, was loving baseball, and oh man, there's these pictures of these guys with their stats on them. How cool is that? What a marriage made in heaven, right? And these kids don't feel that way today. It's not their world. And so to do that and say, hey, take this. And I remember one guy was over here. He was a high school kid, one of my kids' friends, and I gave him an autograph on a Press Steeler card. And I said, look, I'm going to give you this, but I want you to go learn about this player. Go Wikipedia him or whatever you kids do to find out information, and go learn about this guy, because he had an amazing career, and it was happened to be a Negro League player, and to go read about him and go learn about him, and promise me that you'll do that. And I followed up with the kid, and he was able to tell me some things that he had learned, and I thought that was all right, great, it worked. You never know if people are going to do what you say, but yeah, and I think this community, or just the hobby, can be incredibly generous. You were generous and brought me a gift today, and I think it's just fun to do that, right? It's just fun to
absolutely
to share. I mean, we can only have so much crap, right? I mean, how much of this stuff do we really need? And to help someone else is just, it's fun.
Absolutely, I agree to that. To see just the appreciation the other collectors give, or even kids that don't know that they want to be a collector, just to see that moment when it kind of clicks that you've given them something really cool.
Oh, yeah.
And they actually appreciate it. It's definitely fun. And in your case, my goal is to make you a Cubs fan eventually. So
good luck with that.
That's what we got to do.
Good luck.
If we can get this room redecorated
Yeah,
in Chicago, we'll be in good shape.
It's a little Ranger centric right now, I think.
Yeah,
All right.
Everybody comes around eventually. But no, another question, I guess. So this is something I often think about is, as a kid, I know I did this, and I've always wondered, did other people too? When I was a kid, we had Beckett. That was the ultimate price guide,
Sure.
collecting guide, everything. And I know almost in every year of cards, I had at least one card circled that I was going to own someday. Do I actually own most of those? No. But there is some that I have actually gone to.
Right.
So my question would be, when you were a child, A, did you do that? B, do you have the one card you wanted the most that you had circled in that book when you were a kid?
No, I didn't do that. But not because it's not a good idea. I wanted all of it. I mean, I was just like this. I never thought I could own a 52 Topps card, or, certainly anything pre-war, or tobacco cards, or any of that stuff. Like, I'll never own any of that. I own plenty of cards that I never thought I would own now. And so I'm trying to think if there's a card I want a 52 Mantle, but don't we all, right? I mean,
absolutely.
Yeah, that's probably a card that I would say I'd love to own, that I can say it right now, I'll probably never own that card, but I'd love to own it.
Yeah. And for me, that was the card that was my all catch-all, be-all card. And then number 2 was 68 Nolan Ryan. And even though you all know I'm a giant Ryan Sandberg, that was my number 3 card. I actually got that card at a young age. My dad gave me that as a gift, so that was awesome.
Yeah.
Got one of my 3 off the bucket list. I picked up the Nolan Ryan this year. It's just a PSA 4, but it was a great deal. Had to jump on it. The 52 Mantle, for now I'll just enjoy watching other guys' videos and
Exactly.
on theirs.
That's all we can do.
Yep. And maybe I'll go to the National when it comes back to Chicago, and somebody will let me hold theirs.
There you go.
See, maybe that's when you buy yours, and I'll get a picture with it.
Maybe probably not next year, but that's all right.
I think it'd be a good year for you to get the 51 Bowman, the 52 Topps.
All at once? Yeah, why not?
I
Sure.
mean, I feel like you get a better price for bought them in a package.
That's probably true. It's still a price that might be a little out of my range of what I want to spend, yeah.
Good deal. Now, on a little tougher subject.
Bring it
are
on.
there ever moments in the collecting where you've honestly sat back and either been burnt by a purchase, burnt by a sale, burnt by a theft, or anything, where you've honestly looked at your collection and thought, I should get rid of all of this?
First part is yes. I've bought fake autographs, and kicked myself for it. On the card side, the whole reason I got into PSA to begin with back in the early 2010, 2011, 2012, I used to be so anti-slab. I just thought it was essentially desecrating a card. I thought it was stupid and unnecessary. I got turned around when I started getting into the earlier vintage, and I'm like, I don't know how to spot a fake. I really don't. I don't know that I do now, a decade later, quite frankly. And that just gave me some reassurance that the card at least wasn't fake. It was an authentic card. Now, we all know it might be trimmed and altered and colored and restored and whatever terminology you want to use, but it was a real card. It was, or at least they can tell better than I can. So even if they're wrong, I would have really been wrong, and therefore, you know what I mean? It's so I started getting into slabs, and now of course I'm completely slab crazy. So careful, it'll get you, it'll bite you. I'm forgetting the other part of your question. So, but did that ever make me, buying those fake autographs or having those experiences, did that ever make me not want to collect anymore? Absolutely not. I put the onus on me. I didn't blame the other guy, really. I was mad at myself for not knowing better and not doing my homework better. I bought a piece that is Ted Williams, Joe DiMaggio, Mickey Mantle signed, but it's not. It's, in fact, I later found out it's one of the most faked pieces in the entire industry, in the entire hobby. And so, once I looked at what the fakes looked like, and I looked at mine, yep, mine's fake. I absolutely know it. I still own it, and it's in my closet here, and it reminds me, if it's too good of a deal, it's probably too good of a deal. It's probably not legit. And so, but on the autograph side, I just use resources and friends and get other opinions, and I don't use the comma. I don't get anything really expensive. Usually anything over a few $100s without really looking into it and making sure as best you can that it's legit, or just buy it slabbed already. That's the best protection. So no, I never felt, screw it, I'm not doing this anymore. No.
Good deal. Well, see, that's one of the main reasons I asked that, because after talking to you and watching other videos you've had out in the past, is you've mentioned several times that you've never really had an era or just a period where you quit collecting or just got too busy to collect, really. And I've noticed from a lot of people, including myself, that there's been moments where I went almost 3 decades without collecting.
Very common, by the way.
Yeah,
that's a very common story.
Got tied up in life
Sure.
and things, and never really got burnt and quit anything like that. It was more everything that was going on with the sport kind of pulled me away. But I have heard from other people where they've had just they don't have the luck pulling the big cards from breaking, or they can't get their hands on cards because of the pricing anymore. Right. And I've watched several videos where people have stated those statements of, I'm contemplating on getting out of the hobby. And for me, kind of getting back into it and being rejuvenated, that's a hard concept to grab. So I just like to see how other people roll that one around and mull it over. So,
yep.
So on the other side of it, as far as doing the collecting and things like that, for you personally, when it comes to being involved in the community, what would be probably the 3 biggest factors you would say that really push you forward in the hobby?
The community has been a surprise for me, quite frankly. I did YouTube because I found a few channels back in, I can't remember my first video was, 2013 or something like that, my first real video. And but I've been watching for years, just a lurker really in the YouTube world. Like, oh my gosh, there's other people that do this. And I thought, well, I have some kind of neat stuff. Maybe I'll show my stuff off and see how this works. And back then, I was using like one of those flip cameras. It's like it looks like a cell phone, but it's a camera. And the quality was horrible. And I just thought, oh, I'll just do this for a little bit. And I thought, well, nobody's going to care. It won't be a big deal. Well, then people start commenting on your videos, start making friends. I remember the first guy I ever talked to from the YouTube community was Ray from Philly. And it's like, whoa, this guy might be, who is this guy? I don't know this guy. Why am I going to call him on the phone? that kind of weird? You know, I don't know. And it's obvious now. I'm like, well, that's silly. Of course, it's not weird. In fact, it's the coolest part about this hobby is the connections you make with it. Maybe to a memory with a card, or to an era, to a team, a connection that you make there, and then to other people. Like I've been telling you stories about some of the cards. I'm like, hey, I was with this guy when I bought this, and I was with this guy when I bought this, and it was those guys that helped me make that decision to buy that card, and those are fun memories that I don't ever, plan on forgetting. It's just too much fun, and everybody's just so great. I mean, seriously, everybody I've met and had the privilege of meeting and getting to know has just been nothing but nice, and it's a thrill. It's awesome when you meet, and you're gonna find this out, man. When you start meeting other guys, it changes how you watch YouTube from then on, and nobody believes it. Like JT, who is Triple Crown 24 on YouTube, guys, he met a bunch of us at the National this year, and I said, dude, it's gonna change the way you watch YouTube from now on. And he's told me since then, dude, you were totally right. I'm like, I told you, it'll change once you start meeting guys, because everybody's great. They're just so nice and helpful. And I don't know if I answered your question really well, Sean, but I don't know.
I think I get the gist. I mean, we all know the cards is what starts everybody.
Sure.
I mean, I think you hit on the friendships in the community would probably be year 2 and 3, or 1 and 2 cards maybe.
Well, it's still the cards, right? I mean, if I didn't have the friends, I'd still be doing the cards. It would just be a lot more boring.
Yep.
Right? It wouldn't be nearly as fulfilling as it is now. And yeah, and I have some great friends, guys I talk to literally every day. I don't talk to my normal friends every day, but I talk to my card friends every day. So yeah.
So 3 hardball questions.
All right, go hardball me.
First,
That sounded really
most
weird.
important. Yeah, I'm gonna stay away from the hardball and Mike.
Thanks.
So first, very difficult question. Are you ready to admit the 2016 Chicago Cubs is the greatest MLB team that ever existed?
I'm not ready to admit that.
Well, that's just the wrong answer.
I know, but hey, I'm glad they won. I'm glad they got the monkey off their back after 108 years of not winning a World Series. So good for them.
Okay. Second question: are you willing to admit Ryan Sandberg is definitely the best Hall of Fame player of all time?
Well, not only is he not the best Hall of Fame player, he's not even the best second baseman of all time.
That's
but
2 wrong answers in a row.
there is Joe Morgan, and then you've got who did I pick earlier? Ray from Philly and I were texting each other earlier just about who's the greatest of all time at each position. That's the kind of crazy stuff you do in the community. Who did I put
Taking a
as second
hole here,
baseman?
not acknowledging Sandberg.
All right, Sandberg's it. We'll go with Sandberg.
And then a third, very difficult question. Are you willing to admit that out of the 2011 draft class, Anthony Rizzo is definitely the best and future Hall of Famer of that group?
Yes, because Mike Trout was in the 2009 draft class. So
Oh, I should have said rookie class.
you said rookie class of
Yeah.
2011 tops.
Dang it.
That's okay. I got you. You meant to say, right, that
Yeah.
2011.
Rookie
So,
tops up or tops.
I will
rookie
tell you,
class.
that's going to be an amazing set, right? I mean, like an all-timer, because you've got Rizzo,
Yep.
Goldschmidt, Blackman, Charlie Blackman, Trout, obviously, Hosmer,
Chris Sale.
Mike
Freddie
Moustakas,
Freeman.
Freddie Freeman. No, Freddie Freeman was
2011.
11?
Yep.
Thought he was 12, but okay. Still, just an amazing set, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's going to be one of those all-timer sets when it's all said and done, because you've got all these guys that are having great careers, and except for Rizzo, but the rest of the guys are having great careers. And
This negativity's bringing me down.
I'm just teasing.
But I was actually going to use that to segue into my next question, because for me, I've stated in my last video, I believe that out of all modern sets, when I say modern, past 10 years,
Sure.
the 2011 set, I believe, is the most iconic set that's out. With the as everybody knows, I'm a rookie collector. With the rookie class that was in that set,
For sure.
I was going to ask, do you think that would be a good assumption, or do you think there's another set that would give it a run for its money?
No, I think that's a really good assumption. Here's a great question back to you.
Yep.
Is is it the set, or is it the players in the set that make a set iconic? Because not only is there amazing players, but it's a really not a bad design, right? I mean, it's not the best of tops of all time, but it's certainly palatable. And so to me, when you combine awesome players and awesome set design, then you've got an iconic set, right?
So I would definitely agree to that, and I think the players definitely boost it.
Sure.
But for me,
you got to have that, right?
Absolutely. And for me, it's like a modern twist on almost an 80s style set with the white borders, with the ribbon, with the name in the ribbon, but then they use the foil on the names. And then the parallels in that set, I think, are the most beautiful parallels from any set. A lot of people would disagree, but I think the cognacs and the diamond anniversaries, I think this looks so clean and classy that I love that set. So for me, it's an easy argument.
Yeah.
But I do think that's a good question, because I was thinking that the other day when I was looking at the 2020 Topps design that's supposed to come out. I don't prospect enough to know the rookie class that's coming out.
I don't either.
But I was looking at the design, and I really did not like the design. I don't love it, and I didn't love the 19 set either.
Yeah.
Actually, probably as far back as 16.
Keep going. You're still going.
Yeah, probably 15 or 16 was the last set that I actually liked of Topps that I thought was a really good design. But I also believe at the same time there wasn't a real strong rookie class in any of those that really pushed it.
Well, the 18 is going to turn out to be a pretty amazing.
Yep.
With Soto and Acuna and
absolutely.
You got Miggy, Andujar, Gleyber Torres. I mean, good grief! It just goes on and on. And what's cool is you don't know. Like, we have the benefit of hindsight for the 2011 set. Now we're 8 years away from it, and you kind of can see the writing on the wall of what makes that set really great and the players in it. In 4 or 5 years, I think we'll be able to tell a better story about what's happening right now, right? 18, 19, 20.
Yep.
He's got this year, so we'll see. We'll see.
Absolutely. Time will definitely tell on that one. And then one that just kind of created a little bit of controversy.
Please. I'm one for controversy. I love it.
So, tough question here. Juicers or no juicers in the Hall of Fame?
I'm a juicer guy. I have to admit, I know a lot of people aren't, and I understand that side of it. But I watched Barry Bonds play, and I've never seen a better baseball player in my life. And he was a Hall of Famer before he started juicing. So now then you can ask, well, why did he do it? Hey, I can't get in the mind of Barry Bonds, but man, he was a great baseball player. And to me, you have to look at baseball in eras, and this might be controversial because I really do believe that I don't know which guys didn't juice. I don't. You can tell me all day long this guy or this guy didn't do it. How do you know? You don't really know. You think you know, and you're probably right, but you don't know. And so if we don't know anyone, then nobody should get in. Therefore, just let them all, just look at the bloody game and go, who were the best players? Who were the greats of the game? McGuire, Hall of Famer, absolutely. McGuire's a Hall of Famer. Sosa, yes, Sosa's a Hall of Famer. He'll never get in. McGuire won't either. Bonds, best player I ever saw. A-Rod, absolutely. And David Ortiz, Manny Ramirez, Gary Sheffield, Clemens, of course, Clemens. Yeah. So you've got, if you don't know, then you're either yes or no, like either they're in or they're out. And that means you have to exclude an entire era of baseball. And to me, that's just a shame. Because I just, I can't distinguish. I can't tell you who did or didn't. I wasn't around. I wasn't in their lives every day and watching them take or not take steroids. So I don't know if that's just how I feel about it.
No, there's no right or wrong answer. I'm in agreement. Forever I was kind of on the fence about it, but we were talking earlier, and I'd stated to you that I think steroids save baseball. So I mean, everybody knows
The
I
results of steroids saved baseball,
absolutely,
right? There
absolutely.
you go.
And you know, everybody that knows I'm no secret fan of these guys. I did a whole video on my juice box.
Right.
I collect these guys. I love it. You know, I'm a huge Sosa fan, huge McGuire, Bonds fan. The Sluggers, they're amazing. So I'm in the same boat as you as far as I think they should get. But I do have a part of me that does question it because, but went back up. There's a second there that you mentioned you don't know. That's the big question. I mean, we pretty much know who definitely was.
Right.
I mean, there was no doubt Bonds, Sosa, and McGuire. I mean, it's pretty obvious there.
Sure.
But there could have been some greats. I mean, we don't know. And I think you can go all of baseball all the way back to the beginning and make some arguments. I've got a theory that I'll talk with you off camera about. But so I just like to throw that out there just to get everybody fired up because I know that's a subject
It will.
that gets the purist a little upset, but at the same time,
That's the funny thing, though. I'm a purist.
Yep.
And I still believe Rafael Palmeiro, Hall of Famer.
Heck yeah.
500 home runs, 3,000 hits. Are you kidding me?
Yep.
And to me, you still have to hit the baseball.
Yeah.
You know, and did it go a little bit farther? Yes. Did it maybe help them recover from injury faster? Yes.
It definitely enhanced what they did. So, last question. We'll button this up
All
here.
right.
If you had a magic wand that you could wave and change any one thing about the community, what would it be?
Well, good question. I would make it where we can all live closer to each other because, you know, as much fun as it is to talk on the phone and video chat and whatever and watch each other's videos, man, it's so much more fun just to hang out in person, either at the National or at each other's houses or whatever. You could probably attest to this. You're here, right?
Absolutely.
It's a lot more fun and more personable and more personal to hang out with somebody in person. So I'd make us all closer together. That's what I'd do.
Nice. Well, I mean, Indiana, it's a good place to live. You're close to Chicago, so you can go catch real baseball games
Okay,
in Chicago. Right. I'm just kidding. Okay, well, guys, we'll just button it up with that. I just wanted to kind of peel back Mike a little bit and see if we get to know him. He's a tough onion to peel because he's got so many videos where he actually addresses a lot of this stuff. So kind of my ideas on these segments as I meet other YouTubers and collectors in the community is to try to talk with them and kind of put it all in one place. So, you know, not trying to pull away from their videos and things like that, but, you know, for me, this is the part of the hobby I find most interesting is what makes each person tick and what can really be attributed to really bringing us all together. And as much as we're so different, collect different things, have completely opposite opinions on almost everything,
Right.
how we all kind of generally do the same thing, though. So
There's a lot of common ground there.
Absolutely.
A lot of common
Absolutely. And even for the grumpy faces out there that like to pretend that this hobby's so frustrating and drives them nuts, you still see the joy on their face when they get the cards that they really love, or when they meet the people that they like to talk to and do the hobby as well. We all revert back kind of to our childhood selves, and it's so funny to see grown men. You hand them a pack of baseball cards, and we're all 12 again.
That's right.
It's pretty awesome. So
Sorry.
that's pretty much it I got for this. Anything you want to add, Mike?
No, thanks for doing this, Sean. I appreciate it.
No
It was fun.
problem. No problem at all. Hopefully we'll be able to do some more soon.
All right.
All right,
See you
guys. Thanks.
Keep collecting.